This is my third video using the Santa Maria grill, but guess what? We're not using it as a grill. I had a comment here on one of my videos recently from Jared over at Frack Daddy Barbecue, and he said, you know, that would make a good thing to do cast iron cooking in, and what he meant was the built-in walls around it. And instantly I'm like, yes, that would definitely work. So that's what we're doing. We're doing some cast iron cooking. We're doing an oxtail stew. We're going to get started right after this. Alright, so here's my setup. As I said earlier, we got wind protection all the way around with the built-in walls on the Santa Maria. I took the griddle that goes into my 24x36 offset smoker, and I'm using this as the base to put the charcoal to heat our cast iron up. And of course, we'll be placing some coals on top of the lid as well. Let me show you the oxtail. This is actually Wagyu. It comes from Wodagyu, a Texas farm that is privately owned. They take very good care of their cattle, no GMOs, no kind of steroids or anything like that, and the meat is absolutely beautiful. And for those of you that don't know, oxtail is actually beef. It's the tail of a cow. So what I've got here is flour that's been seasoned with salt and pepper, and all we're going to do is just coat these lightly with some flour. Our charcoal is almost ready, and once it is ready, we're going to place it under the Dutch oven. We're going to add a little oil, and we're going to brown these off. We're going to take some charcoal. We're just going to lay this around. Let's place our Dutch oven right here. We're going to let this heat up for a few minutes. So I'm going to pour some olive oil right in the bottom. Now this is not sitting level, as you can see. It's all running everywhere, but that's okay. We're going to let that heat up for just a second or two. I knew this cast iron pot was hot enough because I could actually see a little bit of smoke coming out of the bottom of it. And what I'm looking for now is to start seeing like a sheen on top of this oil with a little bit of movement. All right, so let's lay one down. Oh yeah, we got that bubble, that sizzle going on. Now you want to brown all four sides of this. Knock off any excess flour. I normally don't crowd a pan, but I want all these to brown about the same time. We're going to be okay. All right, so we are brown enough. You don't have to get it extremely brown. We got some brown bits down here in the bottom of the pan. And that's good enough. I'm just going to remove all these for right now. Now we're going to go in with a little bit more oil. We're going to saute up some vegetables. All right, looks like we are still sizzling. I've got 3/4 of an onion that I chopped up a little bit earlier in the kitchen. And I just put all this into Ziploc bags to make it easier to transport outdoors here. Now I've got 2 stalks of celery that I chopped up a little earlier. There again, using a Ziploc bag. Now we're going in with carrots that I also peeled and chopped up earlier. So what you got here is the basic mirepoix. That's how it's starting. We're just going to saute these until the onions and the celery begins to get somewhat tender. Be sure to scrape the bottom of this pan, incorporate all those little bits. Now anyone that's been following me for any amount of time knows, you know that I like to season as I go, so we're adding a little salt. You don't want to overdo it, you just want to kind of build as you go. We already had salt and pepper in that flour for the meat. Now we're just going to season the vegetables up a little. We're going to hold that for now. We're just going to let these sit here and saute. Now we have sweated these onions out pretty good, but now I want to go in with that's about 5 cloves of garlic that I also minced up earlier. Just want to stir that in, let that garlic become fragrant. Ooh, this is smelling good. What I'm going to do now is just push all of this off to the side a little. Right about there. We're going to take some tomato paste and we're just going to add about 2 spoonfuls right here. Work that in a little. Now I'm going to add about 1 cup of this wine into this, and we're probably going to have to add some more charcoal at that point to get this up to a simmer. So let me measure me out about a cup here. Doesn't have to be exact. Don't think that this stew is going to taste like wine. It's not. It's going to get a lot more ingredients. That strong alcohol flavor will cook out of it, leaving only the essence of the wine behind. Alright, so I'm just going to set this off to the side. I'm going to replenish with some nice hot charcoal. And what I'm doing is I got my charcoal chimney right here to the right of me, and I'm keeping just a little charcoal burning at all times. For as it burns out, I'll be able to replenish it. You don't really want to start with a whole chimney because you'll end up wasting a lot of it. Alright, that should be enough to get us back to a simmer. Alright, also, I'm going to go ahead and put the lid on this, which is going to help retain some heat. Go ahead and add some charcoal to the lid. We'll have this up to a simmer in no time. Alright, so I have literally only had this lid on for about 2 or 3 minutes. So let's take a look. And oh yeah, we are simmering. What I'm going to do is just leave this lid off for a few minutes. You need that wine to reduce. Ooh, that's smelling good. And look at there. I think we can go ahead and add the other ingredients. It's going to have a really deep burgundy color. We're going to go ahead and add about 3 more cups of wine. That seems like a lot, but I'm telling you, it's not. And how about 2.5 more cups? That's all the wine. And into this, we're adding 2 cups of beef stock. That makes 2. Alright, now I'm going in with 2 cups. These are just diced tomatoes out of a can. You could use fresh. Fresh is always better. Give this a good stir. Got 4 bay leaves going in. And about 2 tablespoons of fresh thyme. Now we want to add our meat back into the pot. We're going to put the cover on this, and this is going to be a long cook, probably 3.5 hours to totally break down all of this meat. We got to get it back to a simmer, and we got to maintain that simmer. So I'll be monitoring the charcoal and adding as necessary. Put our lid back on. Ooh, smoke follows beauty, man. I'm getting it all in my eyes again. I'm keeping a little bit of charcoal briquettes going over here, but not much, probably about a third of a chimney. That way I can replenish on the top and the bottom as needed. About every 30 minutes, I'm just having to add a couple, no big deal. And probably end up wasting a little bit of charcoal that way, but I'd rather do that than have to start it all over every time. So 3.5 hours roughly for this to be done. 45 minutes before it's done, I'm going to be adding potatoes into this as well. If we put them in now, they're just going to be mush. So we'll wait about 45 minutes before this is done. And I'll probably come back in here at the 2-hour mark. We'll just start around and take a look at it then. We have been going 2 hours exactly. Let's take a look and see what we got. That is looking insane, smelling even more insane. We're going to add potatoes to this shortly. About another 30 minutes, and it's actually starting to thicken up some. It's going to take the potatoes roughly 40-45 minutes. We'll quarter those. Until then, we're going to go ahead and put our cover back on, and I'll bring you back when it's time to put potatoes in. Alright, it is time to add our potatoes in. We have been going like 2 hours and 45 minutes. Ease our lid off here. We're still simmering away. Looking good. Throw our potatoes on. Before I mix them in, I need to add a little bit of salt to allow for the potatoes. Keep in mind the beef broth does have sodium, so you don't want to overdo your salt. We'll taste it here at the end and make any adjustments if we need to. I'm thinking we're going to be pretty good. We're going to let this continue to simmer. These are going to take anywhere from 30 to 40 minutes to get them really tender. All right, next time you see me, this is going to be ready to plate up. We're going to serve it over rice. We are done. This is looking insane. It's smelling insane, and I can't wait to taste it. I've got a bowl here with some rice, and I'm just going to do a little taste test here real quick. Just take our ladle, and we're just going to scoop into this. I definitely want some of that juice. Oh yeah, man. Now you can discard these bay leaves. Ooh, as you can see, it was still simmering, so it's going to be piping hot, but we're going to try to do our best here. This oxtail has completely disintegrated, and I left the bones in. To me, bones help flavor things, and fat, just whatever, man. But this is going to be good. Let's get a little bit of potato. I don't know how I'm going to pull this off because this is screaming hot. Woo! Hot. Oh, God. Incredible flavor. Incredible flavor. I tell you what I'm going to do, because I never done it. I'm going to add a little bit more salt to this. I think it needs a little bit more salt, but my God, this is good. It tastes every bit as good as what it smells like. I'm going to salt it after I close this out. I know that's what it needs. Just going to stir that in. We're going to let everybody else eat. I hope you enjoyed this video, and by the way, you don't have to use just oxtail for this, but I would highly recommend it. That little nugget of meat was fantastic. Check Wagyu out. You can get these and they're relatively inexpensive, and it is Wagyu beef. Check them out, and also check out Lone Star Grills. Man, this thing doubles as a cast iron cooking table big time. You could take and lay your plates all the way across. You could have 3 of these Dutch ovens going when you're not using it as a grill. Hope you enjoyed the video, and until next time, smoke your ribs.